Mm. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Meet. I'm Troy Rawlings, your host, and I am joined. Right now in these times, I don't usually date the shows, but I am joined. I don't feel like I'm sweating. I am joined by one of the funniest people on the planet, hands down. A comedy friend, comedian, actress, now political analyst. um, Author, writer, amazing writer. Without further ado, give it up, make some noise wherever you are in the world, in your house, for Alycia Cooper. What's going on, Alycia?
Hey Troy, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. No complaints.
Great. I was getting on it because she put the purple Prince lipstick on for me today. I was like,
Got to. Got to. Might not know it now, baby, but I
I feel like I need to have a mirror. It's gonna be a lot of this today. All right. I'm a Tarantino all over the place, but I'm gonna go way back in time, the beginning. Where are you originally from, Alycia?
I'm originally from Temple Hills, Maryland.
Oh, home girl. You
Yeah.
said home
Yeah.
girl from
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
all right. Yeah, yeah. My cousins are in Baltimore. So yes, and my good friends. I met a lot of people from Baltimore, and we became lifelong friends. And I went to the University of Maryland College Park. So I still talk to my Baltimore buddies.
Yes, College Park. What's your greatest memory from College Park?
Oh, I have so many College Park memories. You know, it was a trip because when I got there, I would always say, I can't get drunk. I can't get drunk. How you saying that at 18? So this
You saying well, were you saying you can't, like, I'm gonna get in trouble? I can't, like, nobody's ever been able to get me
nobody's
drunk.
ever been able to get me drunk. Like nothing's gotten me drunk before. So we had a friend named Nicole who she had the big single on the end of the rope. So she down there making green alcohol.
I was about to say, was she from down south?
But she was from New York.
But she knew how to make that grain.
Grain alcohol. Let me tell you, I ain't never say that again. Toe up. Two things that told me up was that and something at the time called Cisco. I don't know if they took it off the market or what, but Cisco
People
was
don't
like liquid
understand.
crack.
Look, I just had this conversation last week. Shout out to my man Kevin Peck and Cisco from Drew Hill. We were in we have a chef here in LA. You're here in LA. She's in Long Beach. Well, no, she's around Chef Key. And we're at her house, we talking, and people started talking about Cisco. I said, well, that's where Cisco got his name from.
Is it?
Remember, that was like, anything that came through Maryland with Mad Dog 2020, Cisco, and all that.
Yeah.
Everybody tried Brass. When Brass Monkey was a song, we was all on Brass. Cisco was the last thing we have of Cisco. Like, actually, I don't know who spells his name like they used to spell it, but I think it had an Sisco. I forgot what it was, but they took Cisco off the market.
They had to, because I woke up the next day. I lost some. Let me tell you, a good friend of mine came into my dorm room the next morning. I'm still on the floor. I never even made it to the bed, and this ain't carpeted or nothing. Like I'm on some tile, and so she knocks on the door, and I get up,
like in the
hard floor. I don't even remember the night before. So I hear a knock on the door, and I get up to open the door, and she said, "You guys got so drunk last night, you threw up all over the restaurant." I don't even remember being in a restaurant. I said, "Stop lying." I looked down on the front of my shirt, and it was smashed up puke on the front of my shirt. Then she's holding this cup. When she said, "And here's your contact lens, because it came out of your eye, and I put it in this cup of water." And she handed me my contact lens and a cup of water. So at least she kept it hydrated, because a contact lens will dry up in a heartbeat. So she saved my eye. She saved my contact lens. I ain't messed with nothing else again after that.
Oh my goodness. Like I told you, this is what we need right now. We need laughter. And I knew if I had Alycia on. You wake up in the morning. Oh Lord.
I said, oh, y'all didn't lie. And so
So all right. Let's fast forward. So college part. What'd you go to school for?
I went to school for, at the time, it was called radio, TV, film. So you learned all different kinds of communication. So we had classes in radio, classes in TV, like how to direct like a multicam or direct like a talk show in the control room. And then we learned screenwriting. That was the film aspects. We took screenwriting courses and film theory courses. So by the time you left, you had a little bit of knowledge about a lot of different parts of the media.
Yes. Yes. So you leave college. What did you want to do after you left? What was your focus after you left? When did you click in and say this comedy thing? Or was it right after school, or did that come later on?
No, what happened was while I was an undergrad, I started interning at BET in DC. So they had an open house one day, and I went down there with my little resume that ain't had nothing on it but like Roy Rogers. So I don't know how, yeah. So I went down there and I got an internship where I think I worked like maybe 20 hours a week, and I got a credit or two or something. And so that's where I learned. I worked on Rap City with Chris Thomas. Our first guest was Biz Markie, and I was so happy because back then CDs were just becoming the thing.
Right.
And Biz Markie's publicist showed up with a box full of CDs, and we all got free CDs. You couldn't tell me I hadn't arrived. I had a free Biz Markie CD.
Biz Markie CD.
So worked on Rap City. Then I worked on something else called In Your Ear with a host called named Brett Walker. That was more alternative. The Dion Ferrises and the Fishbones and the different alternatives.
Brett Walker, the one that was on the S curl box, was that the real pretty dude? Real almost unibrow.
Yeah. Because what they were doing at the time, they were taking models and making them hosts. And so he fit the bill for that. Yes, that was him. And so worked on that. And then once I graduated, I couldn't get a job at BET because they didn't have any openings. So I went and worked a couple other places like Planet Hollywood came out and things like that. Then BET had an opening and I went back. So I ended up working there full time and learned a lot. One thing I learned, which I wish African Americans had talked about more, is the benefit of buying stock, because I had an opportunity to let them take money out of each one of my checks for BET stock.
Before they went public?
Right. Well, way before that. I'm a young Black girl. I don't understand the benefit of you taking nothing out of my already small check. I should have let them take at least $40 a pay period out. And when that thing went public, I would have been looking nice. But nobody explained to me the benefits of stock at that time. And I look back on it, I'm like, wow, they got us in high schools taking dumb stuff, home economics and crap. They should have a class on financial health and financial wellness in high school. I would have made different decisions. But, so I worked there, and then Def Jam hit, and everybody made it look so easy that I didn't realize people were writing material. Because when you don't grow up in a comedy culture, all you know is what you see on the screen, and you don't realize by the time you see these people on your screen, they've been telling these same jokes and working them out for years.
Right.
in their hometown. I'm thinking they just getting up there talking off the dome, and I'm like, I can do that.
Right.
So I started jumping on stage. Yeah, I was like, I do this on the school bus. So I started jumping on the stage with no material planned, and I'm bombing, like I should be.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm not funny like I've been told my whole life. So I bombed like 3 times, and I never went back. So I moved to LA, and I wanted to create sitcoms because I love 2 sitcoms in particular, Golden Girls and Living Single. And if you think about both of them, they got the same 4-point opposition.
It's the same.
Like Queen Latifah's the Dorothy, Kim Fields is the Blanche. It's a younger Black version of the Golden Girls if you just look at the 4-point opposition.
Right,
So
right.
I said, I want to create a show. I want to
Kim
create a
Coles and
sitcom.
Betty White.
Right, exact. Kim's Betty. So I was like, I want to create my own sitcom. So that's why I moved to LA. I didn't know what it entailed. I didn't know how difficult it was going to be. It's very difficult. And especially as African Americans, because there's so many roadblocks in your way, from getting
Right.
an agent to getting a meeting to getting an opportunity, from getting an entry-level job. There's so many barriers up. And most of the time, you're going to have to work on an African American show, and there's not that many of them. So I had no idea just how monumental a task something like that would be. And then after I got out there, I was still working in television. I was producing talk shows. Shortly after that, reality television hit, and the scripted work started dying for the non-scripted, because it was cheaper to produce. And so I never got my shot at creating my sitcom. I got a whole hard drive full of sitcoms. Hadn't gotten my shot yet, but I will. And so then I started doing.
I got some people that's watching us now. I'm just letting y'all know.
I got some fire shows in this hard drive. I just need an opportunity. But so then I started doing stand-up, and sort of got pushed into it because I was working on a show at BET called O Drama. The hosts were Kim Whitley, Vanessa Bell Calloway, and Mari Morrow. And one of the other producers named Rawlings, she worked on the Martin show. She said, I want you to do stand-up this Friday on my show. I'm doing a show called The Next Big Things. I'm doing 2 rappers, 2 singers, and 2 comics or something. And I said, Doris, I don't do stand-up. I tried it. It didn't work. And she said, but you're the funniest person in the office. I was like, well, how hard is that to be? We sitting in a bunch of cubicles in a barn. Yeah, I was like, how difficult is that to be? I said, I got my own shows I'm working on, Doris. I can't do that. She was like, well, you're booked. I said, oh, hell no. So I went and got a book and started looking through the book on how to structure a joke.
Your joke.
And so then I was like, oh, this is how you do it. There's a formula to this. So I wrote because I was only doing 3 minutes on the show. So I wrote some stuff, but back then 3 minutes when you was first starting out feels like 3 hours. So I'm trying to write some stuff down, and then I said, well, dang, I need to at least try to say it before I get on national TV. So I go down to the Ha Ha Cafe in North Hollywood and I ask, can I get some time? And they're like, okay, well, you can go up first. So I said, okay, good. So now you know how this works. Going first sounds like this is a good spot. What you don't realize is these hosts go up and do an hour before you. So I'm like Shaquille O'Neal on the free throw line. I'm getting frozen out. I'm back there like, oh no, Lord, please let me hurry up and get this mic in my hand.
Hey, I didn't know that's an LA thing. I didn't experience that back east. I experienced it not at the front of the show. You expect the host to do some time. When I got here and I did a Monday night, the Black Monday night. I ain't gonna mention the names. Everybody knows Black Monday night. Yeah. And Spike asked me to come over. He saw me hosting at the Union, and the host did 50 minutes up front.
Yeah. We call that host lining.
And I don't usually drink. And by the time I got up, I had finished half a drink. I'm a lightweight. Yeah. So, I was like, what is going on with this? The host is like doing 45 minutes up front, 15 minutes between each act.
Easily.
And it's 9 acts.
Yeah. We call that host lining, headlining from the host position. So this person host lined my ass, and I was freaking out. Because remind you, I'm standing backstage by the curtain for like 50 minutes. And, because I'm thinking at any moment, they're going to bring me up. I had sweat rings under my arms. I'm hyperventilating.
Felt like you just did an hour.
Just backstage, I am soaked from fear. So finally, he calls my name, and I go out there and I work on my little stuff, and some of it worked, some of it didn't. And at least I got to hear it come out of my mouth for the first time, because tomorrow I'm doing it on national TV. So that particular episode, they had some judges. So the judges were Ellen Cleghorn, the first Black lady with a sitcom with her name on it. called Cleghorn. No, Thea was the first, so she was second. Cleghorn. Then Chocolate from Def Jam was a judge, and Annie McKnight was a judge. I think those were the three judges we had. So what you did was you did your 3 minutes, and then they critiqued you. Now, if they had given me a bad critique, I'd have quit again. But they gave me a good critique. They were like, we see potential in you. This is what you need to do. And you had some really good setups and you're really confident. Whatever they said was at least complimentary. They didn't fry me on national TV.
And they didn't know you the night before working on it.
Right. They ain't know I had no business being booked on this show. So because they gave me a positive critique, what I would do is I would work my talk shows and my television show shifts, which was usually 12-hour days. And then at night, I would go to the comedy club. But I was only doing it as another creative and social outlet from my monotonous day jobs. And I wasn't doing it to be a comic. I wasn't doing it as a profession. I was just doing it for fun because it was fun. I had a good check coming in. So I would just go do comedy at night because it was fun for me. I never thought of it as a career for me. And then around 2008, I burned out of reality television. I burned out of all of that. And I said, well, let me start trying to do colleges. And then, that was a whole different horse of another color. I would be in the middle of nowhere, getting a rental car, and cell phones, the signals don't happen in the middle of nowhere. So you're just driving and driving and driving. One time I was on E. There was not a gas station for miles in the middle of nowhere. And I'm freaking out. It's dark. It's after a show. I'm nowhere near a gas station. My gas light is on. Can't get a signal. I mean, that wasn't fun either. So, so then I just had to take it seriously. And I started going overseas, performing for the troops. That wasn't bad because at least you guys go as a group. Right. So you can have fun with your comedy comrades going overseas. That college thing is just all you. By yourself.
And they like
and don't get the lunchroom shows, the middle of the day where everybody eating and the kids walking by. Yeah, give me some of them tater tots. You don't want the lunchroom shows.
Right. You got that one person, you ain't
yeah. I mean, that was so yeah. So, but I ended up by default becoming a comic full time. And now I'm at the place where I'm directing and I'm just putting myself in things that I write and direct.
Yes. All right.
I call this my third act.
The third act. But it's so funny because you are naturally funny and that has to come across somewhere. I think I'm thankful for the cats that when I was hosting I was hosting shows and hosting events and everybody kept saying I was funny. And then I got picked as a host during this competition. We're looking for a host. So we have different people come up and try to host. So I went and hosted a band night in this competition to be the host. Like I ain't big on competitions at all. But this competition was easy because they just judging who's the best host out of these weeks. I did the first week and that night they was like, I think we found our host.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I started hosting the night, and the guys that own the club said, man, you funny, man. You should have your own comedy night. I said, yeah, one day. He's like, what night you want? I was like, oh, now? and it opened up, and it was the comedians that came and said, yo, you really funny. How long you been doing comedy? Larry Lancaster in particular from Baltimore, I never met. We were having a conversation. He said, how long you been doing comedy? I said, man, I've been hosting events and doing jokes for high school. He said, how long you been, a comedian? I was like, I don't know all my life. He said, how long you been writing? And that was the first time I heard somebody say writing and put it together that, oh, these folks are writing stuff. I'm up here trying to wing it. And I'm writing some things, but and then I realized everybody has their own style. Like I can write a theme, but I have to work it out. I have to work it out on stage. I have to work it out in front of people because I have to get I go off their, when improv background, you go off their reaction, and you have that thing. I mean, your comedy on stage is great, but you just have the timing and the poise and everything. So it's funny because you never know people's story and how they got there and doing that. So, right? Did you write The Fat Stripper?
I did.
So that's out now. That's out now. Fat Stripper?
Yeah, well, it's about to come out on Flealee TV, FLEALEE TV. So it'll be out next, right before Christmas. It's going to come out on Flealee TV. We're doing a double header. We're going to do Fat Stripper and Just Us. So we're going to do 2 of my 3 short films on Flealee TV. So you'll be able to get it there for a low price.
A low price. I love it. That's awesome. So where'd you come up with the idea for Fat Stripper?
The first 2 that I did were sort of heavy dramas. And everybody kept telling me, you want to direct, you're probably going to get your start in TV episodics. So decide what kind of TV episodics you want to do. What do you want to do? Dramas? Do you want to do comedy? Because they're going to want to see that in a reel. So I was like, okay, well, it definitely would be comedy. So I said, well, I'm going to need to direct a comedy because they're going to look at these 2 dramas and not be able to make the leap. So I said, well, you're going to have to write your own. Now, I'm not going to be able to scrounge up enough money to do a comedy feature. Because to do a feature well, you're going to need about $300,000. So I said, I can come up with some money, and I'll use that to do a 20-minute short. Nice. So I said, now, what story would you like to tell in 20 minutes? It has a really good beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's funny. So then I started thinking about the pandemic and how we're all affected by COVID-19. Our work has come to a halt. And
Wait. You did this movie during the pandemic?
I did 2 movies during the pandemic.
Don't y'all say nothing about no excuses. No excuses. I don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah, I did 2 movies during the pandemic because I can't just sit around like that. You know, my mind is too idle. Then I start stressing out about what's going to happen in the future. So I'm like, you know what? To calm your stress level down, try to do things that will set your future up and put you in a better place in 2021 than you were in 2020.
Something happened with Skype and Alycia. Like I called her, she's like, "Oh Lord!" I was like, "Is this Alicia's mom?" Lord Jesus, my laptop and the Skype is dancing. There's people naked outside. I was like, "What are you talking? Hold it to your phone." I'll call you back.
This is true, and that was the best thing you did because this is much better using my own Verizon signal versus Wi-Fi. You're right. I should have thought about this sooner. But yeah. So I said, I did a drama in the pandemic. I did a drama in July, and I did a comedy in August. And I used the same group of people, the same crew. You know, we got COVID-19 tested because they would get, you know, we could find certain places that would test you for free. And I had everybody's food and stuff and snacks individually packaged. We were socially distanced. We had on masks and gloves were provided for anybody who wanted to wear the gloves. And the strip club was a huge strip club. So it was easy for us to stay away from each other. So, I had to think of a comedy that I could do in a COVID. And it just came up with an idea of a girl who, because of a pandemic, had to go back to a job she worked 20 years ago that's going to be sneaking people in through the back door, regardless of what the governor says. And it's a strip club, but she done gained weight over the last 20 years. But she going to go back like she ain't gained a pound. And so, and try to get her old regulars back. And it ended up turning into a romantic comedy. So it didn't start out as a rom-com, but that's what it turned into over the different rewrites.
Don't give them everything. Don't give everything away. We got to see it. I love it. Hey, because OnlyFans is being advertised in like church pamphlets now. They're everywhere. It's like, hey, trying to get your tithes up.
OnlyFans.
Right. OnlyFans. Everybody got an OnlyFans. They said something in the paper. Saw the paper or news. They were shaming some nurse or something. She got shamed in New York somewhere because they found out she had an OnlyFans page, and she was like, "Hey, I'm just, I can, y'all paying me $500 a week. OnlyFans can pay me $500 a night."
Right. She ain't say she didn't want to pay just because she became a nurse. She got other interests.
She got other things.
Yeah, she got other things to do.
So Just Us is the drama?
Just Us is the drama. So yeah, and before that, the very first one that I did in 2019 is a half hour called Trade, Trade. So that was the first one. And see, the thing about directing is, in order for you to get the interviews for the jobs, they're going to want to see your director's reel. And to only have one thing on a reel, you're not very competitive. So I had to get 3 things just to be competitive for this work when I turn in my director's reel. So I think these 3 I think that's a good representation of my work.
That is amazing, Alycia. That's a big deal, because we don't give ourselves props for, let alone this, because this is not small victory stuff. This is big deal. This is like, I want to be a director, and you end up doing it, and putting it out and finding out ways to monetize it, and phenomenal. So what suggestions can you give people? Because I've met a lot of people, men and women, who are interested in doing their own production. They have an idea, they want to do it. What are some of the things you could tell people that are heading that way,
that are interested in starting their own production? I would, you need to ask yourself a lot of questions too, because you need to know what type of director you want to be. What type? Do you want to do animation? Do you want to do sci-fi? Do you want to do horror? Do you want to do drama? Do you want to do comedy? Do you want to do romantic comedy? So figure out exactly which lane you want to focus on and then study it. I've taken a lot of classes. I've taken a lot of directors classes at UCLA. I've taken, classes from that I found online that other people have been given, and I'll research the instructor. And I always, even with actors, I've taken acting classes. The classes really do make a difference. If you want to be a director, you don't act, still take an acting class, because you need to know how to talk to directors. I mean, you need to, as a director, you need to know how to talk to actors. So, and Ava DuVernay said she did that because she wasn't an actor. She took acting courses. Learn lenses. You need to know which lens works better for which shots. You need to learn every part of your medium, because you don't want to be the one on the set who knows the least. That makes people lose confidence in you. And people don't want to give you money when you don't know what you're doing. So the best thing you can do is get well versed in what it is you want to do. Know how to do, your shot list. You might want to storyboard your scenes. There's so many things that go into this, and it all is in an effort to give you the most productivity. If you go to the set and you're prepared, you can get a lot done in your 12 hours. If you're ill prepared, you'll look around, half the day is gone and you still on like the 3rd shot. So you just time is money. So the better prepared you can be, the cheaper it's going to cost. And that's why people hire the same directors over and over again. They know that these people can give them the most bang for their buck.
And I've been on a couple sets. I've been on sets when it flows like, I remember going to taking the NBC tour, and I tell people, if they're in the industry, there's a lot of people in the industry moved here, and some people lived here. They've never been on any of the Hollywood tours at all. I was like, you need to take some studio tours. If you want to be in the industry, look at what they do. And I went and did the Tonight Show, and Jay Leno was there, and you're talking about a well-oiled machine. And I've always wanted to have my own talk shows and host and stuff like that, but to see that, and he was like, what we doing here? We're gonna, what we do? We're gonna tape, and the tape we do is going to be live. Unless something crazy happens, then what you see here is what you're going to see tonight. And it was machine. And coming from back east, working on different projects and seeing how hard it was for people to just do basic stuff and to look at, of course, it's a multi-million-dollar machine now, but yet it's still a professionalism. And I've had people work with me on stuff, and we all, like you say, all day on 3 shots. It's like, we've been out here 4 hours. Like, we just trying to get one more shot. It's like, there's a 5th side of you. I'm trying to find it.
Yes.
So directing. So what feels better to you? Is it being in front of the camera or behind the camera?
This Fat Stripper was a major undertaking, because you can't be in front of the camera and behind the camera at the same time. So you have to wear so many hats, and you're trying to stay in character as the lead, but then you got to jump out of character to go
As soon
direct.
as you cut,
As
you got to
soon as
say
you
cut.
cut. So yeah, exactly. You're literally saying cut. And I mean, it is such a major undertaking. And I'm glad I didn't do it to my third project because it was a lot. I mean, I remember when Denzel, I think he directed The Great Debaters, and he was talking about how exhausted he was afterwards. And I completely get it because when you're in it and you're directing, you're wearing two hats right there. You know, when you're the director, everybody comes to you on that set with their questions. So, and you're trying to stay in your head as the character you're playing.
I was about to say.
You know, and I'm trying to be funny. You know, so it's like it was a major undertaking. So I learned so much, and I'm glad that I did it on my own dime and nobody else's, because I didn't have that extra stress of the production and the studio is over here watching while we're taping, or I got to send back dailies so they can see what we've done so far and get it approved. That's why I'm glad I did it this way. But
Yeah.
you know, but let me say this: the difference in doing it in indie, you know, with a shoestring budget, it's a totally different thing when you got New Line Cinema or Paramount or somebody behind you, and they've given you a whole lot of money and a whole lot of resources to do the same thing. What I did Fast Strip in 2.5 days. If I had some real money, I would have spent the whole day in the strip club. You know, I would have had 80 angles of everything. You know, so it's more difficult for me doing it this way than it will ever be for me to do it with a studio behind me.
So, Fat Stripper done. You started doing. You already had the TV production and even behind the scenes background. So, when did people start pulling on you for commentary? When did you notice people were pulling on you to do some commentary? Like I had you on the radio show. This was back in 2008, and we had a ball. But you had the voice, you had the personality. You were comfortable there in the studio. We had Stephen Russell from Troop on. I gotta go back and look. It's still on YouTube, y'all. So if you go to Tap on Radio, so on it, that voice you hear in the background yelling. No,
So yeah, you said when did I know that I could do the political commentating?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Even when I first started doing comedy, my love was current events. You know, so I love talking about if something happened earlier that day, I want to talk about it on stage later that evening. You know, when Michael Sam got drafted by the NFL and immediately started tongue kissing his white man on ESPN, that same night, I was booked at Chocolate Sundays at the Laugh Factory, and I talked about it that night.
Right.
You know, it's fresh on everybody's mind. You know, it's international news.
Right.
I'm like, God dang, I said, black people, I said, we're destined to be poor. You know, I said, because we can't get a rich, straight black man or a rich gay black man to stay in the community. So, so you know, I prefer to talk about what's happening now, and it just works well with my personality and my interest to do the political shows because I'm interested. I'm naturally curious, so I'm interested in what's happening in all areas of life already. I'm already naturally interested, so it just works out well.
So, what's your ideal project now? What's the one thing you really want to do that, and if you could get any funded or not, but even especially if you could get it funded the way you want to, what's the ideal project that you want to work on?
I've written 2 features, 2 comedy features, and I would like to get the funding to make them. You know, that would be, I think that would be the first thing. Then after that, I would like to turn my Fat Stripper short into a series, because I already call it, the log line is Schitt's Creek meets P Valley. You know, so I would love to turn my Fat Stripper short. And then I have a podcast that I'm doing that I want to turn into a streaming series. So yes, it's called Nightmare Road Stories, and it's where comics tell their nightmare on the road, and then I want to reenact it.
That is. Are you doing a podcast now, or have you
Yeah, well,
started?
just started taping it. So right now, my first guest was Roy Wood Jr.
Oh wow.
So and then we have Kim Whitley coming up. We have George Wallace and Lou Nell. So that's the
Oh.
first four. And the
And
pilot
people
episode is me talking about my Nightmare Road story. And whoo, it's a doozy. Me and Antoine Scott out of Richmond, Virginia.
y'all were out there on the road. Y'all were together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When you hear this story, you first of all, you're not gonna believe it. That's how crazy this Nightmare Road story is. But me and him been friends ever since. But we marketed like we slept together the first night we met.
So, don't give it away. Don't give it away.
So that's the most I can tell you about that episode. It is funny. So that's the pilot episodes that sets the tone for all the other episodes. So people can get what the show is about. It's about taking you on a journey of one Nightmare Road story.
So how do you keep yourself motivated to do the next creative thing? Because some people quit. Some people have stalled. Some people have quit. What is it that keeps you going?
You know what? Do you remember the comic named Joe Recker out of Baltimore? He passed away.
Good friend of mine.
Yeah, Joe, me and Joe, if we didn't talk every day, we talked every other day. And one thing Joe would say was, I'd have backed myself into a corner with this comedy thing. I can't do nothing else. so there's certain days when I feel like that. I'm like, you done backed yourself into a corner. You can't do nothing else. So you better open up that laptop and get them fingers flying. You better think so. You better create something, or you're gonna end up. You're gonna have to go to. I don't want to say a store name. Like I'm putting that store down. Yeah, you end up back at Roy Rogers.
You gotta say something that don't exist no more, so somebody know. Hey.
Yeah. You say a real stuff. Like, what's wrong with my job? So I ain't trying to offend nobody. We in that sensitive era. Everything you say done offended somebody. So,
what's wrong with Albert?
So I'm gonna tread lightly, but yeah. So I have no choice but to keep creating. I back myself into a corner.
That's the officer and the gentleman. I ain't got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
I ain't got no words no more. It's like,
I want your DOR. That daggone Louis Gossett Jr. deserved that Oscar that he won.
You worked hard for that.
Yeah, I want your DOR. Mayonnaise.
Y'all got to look at some during the holidays. I know y'all into y'all Christmas movies, but take a trip and just watch some good, like do back and back. Do like a soldier story, officer and a gentleman, and
yes.
I don't know if you ever like army films that good.
Well, no, Major Payne.
Major Payne to end it, bring it home. Major Payne was the hardest out of all of them because he was hurt. Like, let me snap your neck, boy. He was just showing you. Man, I'm telling you. So, your comedy features Fat Stripper, political analyst. I caught you on it's Fox Soul. How'd you like being on Fox Soul?
I liked it. I've done it a few times. I've done Tammy's show a couple times. I did Mike and Donnie. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I'll be on there again this Friday. What's that date? Today is what, Tuesday?
Friday's the 18th.
18th. So I'll actually be on Tammy's show again the 18th.
And so Nightmare Road Story. But if you because I see you probably getting your own show pretty soon. But what would your show or your ideal show be? Would you just want to have a comedy? Would you want to have a comedy special? I'll let you in. Would you want to have a comedy special? Or would you want to have your own show? And what kind of show would that be?
I used to want a show. I don't think I'm there right now. I don't think that's where I am right now. I don't really want a show. I would like a comedy special.
Oh, you
You
would like.
know, yeah, something that's a one-off because I'm doing so many different things that I want to be tied down to any one thing too long. If you get a show, you on that set 5 days a week, you pretty much that's all you're gonna be able to do. So
Right.
I don't want to be bogged down in that way, but a special is something you can do in that one day, shoot your special for an hour and then go home. So that's more in line with where I am now. And I just want to keep working on my different projects and my different interests because I got a lot of them.
I love it. I love it. All right. Before you get out of here, anything you want to say to people about, I don't know, pandemic, politics, something hilariously encouraging, of course.
Well, I mean, the pandemic was a good thing. It forced a lot of people to spend time with their badass kids.
Right.
You know, and they now know that it ain't the teacher, it's your kid. They look at these kids like, oh, I never knew you had two eyes. They look at these kids, they never pay these kids no attention. So it's wonderful that the Lord forced you to stay in the house and pay attention to your badass kid.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. And then you learned out just how much you don't remember from, in school because you're trying to help them with their work, and you overwhelmed. You try,
keeping it together when you're looking at it, you're like, but you know this. I know you know this.
Yes.
It's a 5 here. It's a 30 here. You know your 5 times table. You feel yourself getting like, hold up. My daughter shouldn't have to see me taking a deep breath like I'm Anthony Joshua just got knocked
out. Yeah, so in this pandemic, people now know they Wi-Fi ain't up to par. Get up off that dial-up and get you some real Wi-Fi.
Hotspot ain't gonna work. School
Hotspot
class
ain't gonna work. And stop and get dressed. Stop being in the back of your kid video butt naked, trying to cover your nads. You about to get charged with being a sexual predator or something. Put some clothes on.
The kids think it's funny though. They will push that button and say, "Let me get out the room."
Boom, boom. They sure will. Yeah. You're butt naked and clean the rooms where y'all having these classes. The room look like Chernobyl. Clean the daggone rooms up before you turn these cameras on. But the best thing about this pandemic is people have to wear masks because people with bad breath know they got it now. Oh, just smacking them right back in their nose. I'm like, man, what we've been dealing with all this time, Gerald.
I did a whole video one day. I just called myself going out the store. I was like, yeah, all right. I was like, I had to do it. It was so bad. I had to do a video. I was like, man, look, y'all, used to think you could just run out the house. Women, y'all, sometimes, but guys, we're just gonna have on some sweats on, run out the house, and be in the grocery store like, yeah.
No, man. Ain't none of that. Women, we done saved a lot of money on lipstick because we ain't got to put it on no more. But I noticed the same men that won't wear masks, won't wear condoms. It's a correlation.
That's a huge correlation. Actually, you get away with one and not the other now. Women like, you bringing a mask over here? A mask? Yeah, I can bring a mask.
So yeah, it's just this pandemic, man. This pandemic, man. Let me tell you, I done gained the COVID-19. This. I can't wait to get out because California, we back on a curfew. We can't be out 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. They got us on lockdown because some dummies wouldn't wear a mask and do what they needed to do. But a lot of them was following Donald Trump's lead. And why would you ever follow his lead? Why would you ever follow his lead? I can't wait for January 20th. And Kamala Harris won that election for Joe Biden because she checked every box. This lady was Black, Asian, Indian, Jamaican. She a Christian. HBCU. Her husband HBCU. She a Christian. Her husband Jewish. She do capoeira and jiu-jitsu. Ain't nothing she don't do. She telling people, yeah, but lesbians, I dabbled in college. Like she done hit every box. And that's why he won. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said Tiger Woods might be cobbling age, and I'm Kablendian. for the Kablendians of the world. So Kamala won that daggone thing. That woman checked every box.
You had to be, the only way you could not vote for them is you had to be a hater to not vote for them. It's like, I don't believe in their policy. What policy do you believe in? I forgot. What's his name? You know? Oh my goodness. This is, if you can't laugh right now, I needed this because I always, like I said, you're one of the funniest people on the planet. There's certain people that are just funny to me. Like, there's never been a time I heard you say something. It was like, ah. But I like comedy. I like to laugh. You know how some comics are. We be like, ha, you be like, we golfed. We like the golf peanut gallery at the
exactly. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That one. Write that down. It's like, stop. Enjoy yourself. That's why you started this. But you always seem to have fun. Like it reminds me of Tony. I remember when I first worked with Tony Baker and saw him and started booking him. I was like, dude, you're one of the most original, funny comics I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh man, yes. He was doing a joke about falling back in the shrubbery. He was like, oh, y'all think okay? Yeah. He just falling back in the shrubbery like he was watching The Simpsons. I was crying. He's like, what's so funny? I was like, you never felt like you just wanted to disappear? Like everybody just stopped talking to you? So I have a good sense of humor. So, and you remind me of old school comedy that can be anywhere. So I appreciate what you're doing, young lady. And I got to keep supporting you. I got to have you on again. We got some more things coming, but I got to get you on some live stuff too. But I appreciate you, Alycia. Let everybody know how to get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me on Instagram at Alycia Cooper 2, ALYCIA COOPER 2, and follow my Instagram movie pages. I have a movie page for Fat Stripper. I think it's like at Fat Stripper Movie. Trade at Trade the Movie, I think it is, and at Just Us the Movie. So if you could follow those Instagram pages, I let everybody know when and where they can see the film. So yeah, that would be great.
Y'all see me writing, y'all should be writing. Y'all ain't know. That means rewind and right.
Yeah, but like I said, right before Christmas, we'll have the movies up on Flea Lead TV.
So who are they? How did you connect with them?
There's a black-owned company out of Las Vegas, and the guy's name is Dion Lee, but he goes by Flea Lead TV, and he has his own network. So once you see the movies, you can, from your phone, if you have a smart TV, you can just click, and the whole movie will go correspond with your TV, correspond with your laptop. So Flea Lee and I decided we wanted to work together and just push our projects, and his platform is a platform that other people can also talk to Flea Lee and see if they want to put their programs on his platform, because he has a pretty decent following.
Yeah.
And so we decided to work together and try to help each other build.
And those Vegas cats usually work. Is he from Vegas?
Yeah, and he works hard.
Different type of animal. They were like, it's all kinds of money here. So we gonna let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
You were like, okay. So I've been living around money all my life. I know how to get it.
Exactly.
Vegas cats, they on. Yeah. You gonna be the show tonight? Okay. Lily TV. Alycia Cooper, thank you for taking a minute with me.
Thank you, Troy. It's always wonderful when I get to talk to you.
Yeah, I love it. So make sure all information will be below and also on the YouTube link, and make sure you follow Alycia. Support. And the most motivational thing she said today, she did 2 movies during the pandemic. So y'all been talking about writing books for years. Y'all been talking about all this stuff. The sister's making it happen, and she's not letting anything stop her. I appreciate you, sis.
Thank you. I appreciate you too, Troy. Enjoy the rest of your week.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All righty. Bye-bye.